Let's take Naisula as well.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Mutua, on 1st of March 2023, when you were the Cabinet Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, you made a very important communication through a note verbal, where you informed diplomatic and consular missions, UN, and other international organizations in Kenya, that it was agreed in the interest of efficiency that the missions may communicate directly with departments, different ministries in the country. And you know now, even in the Ministry of Labor, you'll be dealing still with other countries. It is important for you to share with this committee and also Kenyans what informed your decision then, because normally we know that they write directly to the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, but now they could write directly to other ministries and departments. And the last question that I had is that how do you plan to handle the perennial industrial unrest in most sectors? For example, health, because you, as much as it is in health, you will play a critical role as the CS of Labor, that is in case you are approved and confirmed as the CS of Labor.
Many invite the Deputy Speaker to be the first to ask you a question.
Dr. Mutua, as you know, His Excellency the President has been at the forefront of promoting labor migration as a way of dealing with unemployment. And also secondly, because migrant workers bring a significant contribution to our economy through their remittances. And then you have also been Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. So we'd like to know how you leverage on those contacts that you made to be able to promote this. But before you proceed, and while you're at it, I'd like you to elaborate on two issues that have tainted your image. One is that you are closely associated to a Miss Judith of First Choice Employment Agency. There are clips of you introducing her to the president, and she's known, and it's even come to parliament. There are petitioners from Wasingishu County, whom she owes millions of shillings and has impoverished many young people in Wasingishu because she conned them out of their money. And this is in the public domain, so please explain to us that you will not fall prey, if confirmed, to this issue. Number two, you also had another incident in Canada where you met a public senior government official informally. It was not a formal meeting, informally, and had informal discussions. But when you came back to Kenya, you announced in the media that you have secured an agreement with Canada so they can recruit Kenyans. And thereafter, it was denied by the Canadian government. In fact, the Canadian government ended up spending 2 weeks at the Kenyan embassy to train Kenyans on what to say, the ones at the embassy in Ottawa, on how to behave and the things that are official and not official. So please explain to us those and tell the people of Wasingishu how they'll get their money back. Thank you.
Nominee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Boss, for your questions. Let me start from the very beginning. One of the things that I want to do in terms of labor migration is ensure that we have agreements. The challenge we have is that people, when they go outside this country, they go as by themselves. And at times they get abused and they don't get the right rates that they should. This is because of bilateral labor agreements. We have only signed 4, which were signed even before this government got into place. And we have another pending 16, 17. My move is to get close to 30, if not 50 bilateral labor agreements by going through the hoops. I have been able to do a bit of research, and the problem is the bureaucracy that we have within our government system. By working with my colleagues, and I'll bring it up to cabinet if appointed, if pass the vetting by this house, is to ensure that we break the bureaucracy so that we can move faster in terms of processing bilateral labor agreements so that we can be able to get into that. Now, when it comes to the issues that you mentioned of a lady called Judith, I tend to remember that we had a function at KICC where we had different stands. And the stand of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora was next to the stand of Ministry of Labor. And I'd never met this lady in my life. But she was the one who was showcasing what the Ministry of Labor, I was not the minister then, was showcasing the program that they had of what was happening. And when the president came, we were told to combine the two issues of labor because of diaspora at that time. And I was there with my PS and others, so I was introducing the president to the people who were presenting. And if you watch the clip, I didn't even know her name, and she introduced herself. That was the only time that I ever met her, and after that meeting, I've never met her again. So I don't have any conflict of interest. I saw her stories later on about her, and those are things that you remember when I was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'd even called a meeting to discuss these issues of rogue employment agencies, and we'll come to, it's an issue that I'll be dealing with squarely.
So you
my
have an
research.
undertaking that you will ensure that the people of Wasingishu who lost over 100 million shillings will get them, you'll investigate and get their money back?
I'll give an undertaking that I will ensure that the rule of law is applied, and if anybody has to return monies according to the rule of law, we'll make sure we follow the process so that people get their rights, because it is wrong for people to lose their money through con organizations. That. Now, the issue of Canada is what I would call mischief. When I went to Canada, I had official meetings, not unofficial meetings. And we had an agreement. When I got to Kenya and announced what we had agreed on, immediately an organization, a fake, so-called fake organization that was promising Kenyans jobs and charging them jobs, put out a notice of providing employment to Kenyans. The Canadians were not responding to me. They were responding to that fake announcement to show that clearly that fake announcement quoting the Canadian government was not theirs. It was not an agreement between the two countries. Because of all that, I even had a call from my counterpart at the time from Canada to apologize for the mix-up, because the way the Kenyan media, and it was just basically, they were very clear. It was one of the newspapers, a journalist took it and twisted it.
You or your counterpart? Who was apologizing?
My counterpart called me to apologize that this had been mistaken, had been taken out of context. And to explain to me that that was not the intent of the statement that they issued. Actually, they were supporting the agreement and the discussions that we had about fighting fake people who have been misleading Kenyans all over, quoting the government of Canada, to say they were not aware of that issue. And we're able to sort out that issue and move on and be able to actually establish systems, which I can discuss later on, about getting seasonal workers to go to these countries.
So what is the position with Canada now? See, when you left the ministry, what was the position on that point, on migrant workers?
The position of Canada now is that one of the bilateral labor agreements that I'll be following up is that Canada does not sign bilateral labor agreements as a nation with countries, but the provinces, according to their law, are the ones that sign agreements. And what we had agreed about was about getting seasonal workers for Canada. Canadians are looking for seasonal workers so that during the summer, you can go there, you can work for six months or so, and then go back to your country. They already have many seasonal workers from lots of South American countries, from the Philippines, and even other Asian countries, but they don't have many or any from our country. So that is something that is still in process, and it is quite exciting because I got information from some colleagues and some friends from Canada when I was nominated for this position, saying at last now we can revive the conversation and continue from where it was left.
Before the next question, your documents that you came with should be handed, Sergeant, to the clerk to verify with what we have on you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Majority Leader Honorable Ishungwa, thank you very much about the National Employment Authority. And it is true, they have a website that many people do not know about. I've been in government for very long. I've never even looked at that website. And you know the old adage that if you wink at somebody in the dark, you're the only one who knows you're winking. And that is exactly what has been happening. The Kenyans who are looking for work, Mwananchi who's looking for work has not really known about this portal and what is available. So one of the first things that I'm going to undertake is to have a good marketing campaign to ensure that Kenyans know about the opportunities that are there. Kenyans do not want handouts. Kenyans want to be given opportunities. They want to know where you can get their skills. They want to know how to apply for jobs. They want to know where the opportunities are. And because there's a mistaken idea that the jobs out there that are available are only jobs for house helps. Whereas when I did a bit of research and I looked at the available jobs in the countries like Australia, Germany, Italy, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Turkey, US, Canada are looking for people, and they are ready to employ Kenyans in various areas. For example, the international community are asking for about 11,200 jobs of drivers. If you can drive, they're looking for drivers. But we have to be a ministry that is able to take the person who is looking for the work and connect them with the employer and teach them also how to get those jobs. I know what kind of documents do you need to get those jobs. They are looking for another 8,400 domestic drivers. They are looking for hotel workers. We've got about 3,000, nearly close to 3,000 people in beauty. If you've done beauty, to work in a spa, to be able to do nails. They're looking for those young people to be able to go to Canada and other countries. Also in firefighting, in all the different areas, baristas, in heavy truck drivers, construction workers. If you're a mason, if you know how to do carpentry, you know, Australia is looking for you. So we are going to make sure that people are able to know that regardless of the field you are in, nurses, doctors, people are looking for Kenyans to be able to work. So as you wait for the economy to grow, because our job is not to send people out of the country, we have to also grow jobs here. As you wait for our economy to grow, in the meantime, do not give up hope. We are going to make sure that we connect you to available opportunities and also help you gain the right skills so that you can be able to get to those jobs.